So I want to end this portion of our conversation by showing you a video featuring Larry Kudlow, who's over at Fox Business now. He served in Trump's first administration. And I mean, he is absolutely shocked at the public opinion polling coming out of the US showing that there is waning support toward Israel and that the majority of Americans do not agree with this war against Iran. Here's how he reacted to it.
In terms of regime change, the president has said from the beginning he hopes the Iranian people will go and do that, will go and secure the freedoms they want. 42,000 of them lost their lives just for protesting the repression.
I call it, I mean, it's the worst.
It's inhumane since
it's Nazi-like. I'm sorry.
Saying
it just
since the Holocaust. Absolutely.
Since the Holocaust.
And we can't look the other way because look at what happened then. So many leaders looked the other way. Trump's just not a guy who's going to look the other way.
How can a political party, possibly oppose this? It is beyond. I know they do. The Democrats do. I don't understand. This is worse than 9/11 in a sense. It's not really worse than 9/11 because we lost almost 3,000 people. I don't want to go down that road. But everybody was united in defense and patriotism of the United States. It's gone now. How can that be? Iran is in some sense worse, bigger than Al Qaeda. They haven't done us direct damage yet, but we're risking, Boston, New York, Chicago, you name it, that kind of thing. And how can people all of a sudden turn against Israel? A democracy.
I don't know if it was the 2-martini lunch talking or if he genuinely believes what he's saying, but I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Wow, that's another one I hadn't seen. So that was a bit of a shocker. I used some of his sound bites on my show, but I missed that one. And holy cow, that is as detached from reality as it can be. And one of the things that I suspect and fear is that he may believe what he said, meaning the sources of information he may get from wherever they are. He may think those things are true, and he may be genuinely puzzled why Americans who were attacked on 9/11 and had Washington, Pennsylvania, and the New York hit by an external source and all the damage that went with that, we don't have the same reaction when we go and search for an attack on somebody that did not attack us, was not threatening us, violating our own constitution, violating the War Powers Act and international law. Other than that, it was fine. And so why does he think anybody's going to support that? And then to be puzzled why people aren't supporting Israel when they have been on this mad genocidal episode from the beginning. And look, and I said from the very beginning, from 10/7 in the days afterwards on Fox News, I said, listen, any country who's been attacked by a terrorist organization like that and killed, whatever it was, close to 1,000 civilians in the process, they're gonna strike back. We did, everybody would, and it's in the UN Charter. It's just normal humanity. But I said it matters how they do it. And then when it became evident with just days later that they were going to use this as an opportunity to go in and just start wantonly destroying the Gaza Strip and killing whoever was in the way, I said emphatically at the time, I said, this is putting Israel on a path that's going to be harmful and not going to provide their security. You can't put military force to something to get a political objective, providing security by creating more insecurity. And then, of course, that has impact when you just tens of thousands of people over and over were killed. And you can see, anyone can see that you are methodically leveling the entire living structure. There's no military utility in any of that. Even though they said it on a routine basis and we gave political and diplomatic cover to it, it was never true. And normal people can see that with greatest of ease. And so when he's surprised by that, then that means that he is either one, he's of that group of people that is okay with that kind of destruction and that they value the Israeli people over the Palestinian people and say these other ones don't count, so it's fine if they kill them and force them off the land. Or he's just blind, or I don't know, maybe there's a third option, but I can't come up with anything that's rational.
Well, it's interesting that he made this partisan because there's a growing number of Republican voters, self-identified Republicans who don't agree with this war either, although the percentage is higher on the Democratic side, I will admit that. I think that this behavior and the reaction by normal Americans to the behavior of Israel has been very clarifying for me personally, because I did used to see everything in our country through a hyper-partisan lens. And when you do that, you inevitably start convincing yourself that the other side is dangerous and they want terrible things and they don't value human lives. I am actually, the one silver lining to everything that's been going on is it woke me up to the reality that most Americans are good people. Doesn't matter if you're a conservative, a liberal, a leftist, doesn't matter. If you see what's happening in the Middle East, you see the loss of innocent human lives, you see the treachery being carried out, and you speak out against it, you have a problem with it, it means you're genuinely a decent person. And knowing that the majority of my fellow Americans are decent people who see that slaughter abroad and they have a huge problem with it gives me a little bit of peace of mind. I think that we as Americans will pull through the horrible situation that we're in right now. But we have to have that optimism about who Americans are as people. I'm not talking about people in positions of power, just normal Americans. And seeing them react negatively to what's happening in the Middle East gives me a little bit of hope. Anyway, let's move on to Ukraine. So we haven't talked about Ukraine on TYT for a while now, and that's very much on purpose because some number of months ago, I realized there were certain things that weren't being reported in the US. There were certain things I myself might have been naive about, and I wanted to get to the bottom of the truth and feel comfortable, making a case. I am still not there, Colonel. I don't feel confident in what I know about what actually happened in the lead up to the Russian invasion into Ukraine, which is why I'm bringing you on, because you've been following this very closely and I want to get your perspective on it.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.